one, we are doing an activity that kind of shows you the difference in ratios and proportions, especially how they are important when we are cooking or doing anything. So I've done a visual representation here, and I've also done one that you can taste. We made chocolate milk. So make sure that you guys watch this video and kind of understand so you can visually see it and even taste the difference in ratios. So for this one, we are gonna need 3 cups, and I have a half a cup of milk in each of them. I'm using clear plastic cups again, that way we can actually see it, but if you don't have clear plastic cups, that is quite all right. We are also gonna be using Hershey's syrup. Now, if you don't use Hershey's syrup for your chocolate milk, use whatever kind of syrup you use, or if you use the powder, you can also use the powder version. Whatever you have on hand, that's totally fine. Now, so I have all 3 cups equaling the same amount of milk. And I wanna keep that the same, that way we can see the difference towards the ratios of how much syrup I'm gonna be adding. So I have a 1 teaspoon measure, a half tablespoon measure, and a tablespoon measure. So we're gonna be putting this to the test and seeing how they taste different, how they look different, and that is gonna kind of show us and kind of give us a tasting reference of how proportions, especially in cooking, are really, really important. So let's do this. So I'm gonna start off with this cup, and I'm gonna be using my teaspoon amount, and I am measuring, that way we can be very accurate. Normally when I make chocolate milk, I don't measure. And we're gonna pour it in. Okay, so now we can see that all 3 look different. If you can tell, this one is very light, this one is a medium brown color, and this one is much darker than the other 2. And that is because we have more product in the milk. Now we're gonna do the taste test. I had to order them similarly to how we were doing the coffee brewing. I would say that this was a mild, this is a medium, and this is a strong. So now I'm gonna show you what it looks like if you don't have something edible that you can consume and you would like to see it in color. So now we're gonna do the same thing but with water. So again, I have a half cup of water in each of my cups here, and we're gonna be using red food coloring. You could use any color food coloring that you would like, but you need to make sure that you're using just one color and you're using it for all 3. That way we can see a difference in opacity. So I'm gonna do this in the amount of drops that I do. In this one, I'm gonna do 1 drop, and this one in 2, and this one 3 drops. All right, so I moved out of the way and brought them a little bit closer, that way you could really see. But this was 1 drop, this was 2, and this was 3. And we can see that the 2 and the 3 look, at a quick glance, they look like they would be the same. But this one is much darker. It actually turned out to be more purple, so I guess that's a purple food coloring that I have. But we can see that this one is very translucent. It's much more translucent than these 2. This one you can't really see my finger behind, whereas this one you totally can. So we can see just in color that proportions and ratios do make a difference, even if it's just one drop, okay? So even just a small little difference like that really does have a big difference here. I would not recommend drinking this, but just as a visual, you can kind of see how portions differ.